Nike struck absolute gold when they signed Caitlin Clark to an 8-year, $28 million endorsement deal. So why in the world are they ignoring her? They're saying now that we might not get a signature shoe from Caitlin until 2026 or 2027.
Nike CEO has finally spoken after facing criticism for not promoting Caitlin Clark. That's right. Caitlin now has her own Nike product, and it's the most basic one ever. Nike truly believed they'd done something by publishing this when, in fact, they've just stated their case of fumbling one of the biggest upcoming superstars of our generation. And I think it just came out this morning. We saw it just before the show, and thank God we did, because it gets to everything that we've been talking about, like what's wrong with the WNBA, what's wrong with diversity, equity, inclusion. What's wrong with this race agenda? What's wrong with this Queen's agenda? And so he's written a story about Nike and why Nike has been reluctant to take advantage of Caitlin Clark, because they have. And what I've always thought was like, man, that contract she signed seemed pretty reasonable. It's like, wow, Caitlin Clark comes out of Iowa, and I started saying after her junior year in college, like, hey man, she's the biggest star in college sports. And then after what she did at Iowa her senior year, I started saying, hey, I think she's going to be the biggest star in sports. And we've never seen this. This is a woman in America that is going to dwarf the men in terms of popularity and influence, driving. We haven't seen this since Tiger Woods, was my argument. Nike could have issued Caitlin's own shoes, which would make sense given her rookie season, but instead they published a shirt with a few records on it. This woman's reward for her efforts was only a plain shirt. What a joke. Someone on Twitter put it best: when it comes to Nike and marketing Caitlin Clark, just don't. They are, alas, totally incorrect. Even Adidas was eager to praise Caitlin on her debut season. What a first season. Congratulations to Caitlin Clark, the 2024 WNBA Rookie of the Year, remarked Billie Jean King, an Adidas ambassador, recognizing Caitlin before Nike had mentioned anything. And not to forget, remember when LeBron James made his debut in the NBA? Yes, he started his first ever game in the NBA with signature LeBrons, and you're telling me they couldn't create a signature shoe for Clark back in the beginning of the year when they had already promoted her for a year? In summary, Nike lucked into the marketing. Chance of a generation, and they're using that to advertise old product. Why is it happening this way? Now, here's the money. Based on conversations with people in the know, it indeed has something to do with the WNBA MVP and Nike athlete A'ja Wilson. To make matters worse, they completely ignored her the whole year, and for what? Why pay an athlete $4 million a year and just let her hang out to dry? Well, here's the issue. According to insiders, it has something to do with WNBA MVP and Nike athlete A'ja Wilson. The concern is that A'ja will be offended if Nike prioritizes Caitlin Clark. It's apparent that A'ja has been all over the advertising boards following her MVP accomplishment. There's no doubting she was the league's top player, but she won't sell as well as Caitlin. People care more about Caitlin than A'ja. Caitlin's debut season increased viewership to levels never seen before in the WNBA. Nike has always been at the forefront of sports culture, pushing boundaries and welcoming the world's most talented athletes. Nike has constantly positioned itself as a brand that promotes players that go above and beyond the game, from revolutionary relationships with luminaries like Michael Jordan to collaborations with budding talents. However, when it comes to Caitlin Clark, one of the most talented and significant players in women's basketball today, it appears that the sports powerhouse is dragging its feet. Her WNBA season has come and gone. And with that, Nike has not done one thing to promote her. We have not seen any commercials. We have not seen any ads. We have not seen any Caitlin Clark merchandise. And we for sure as hell have not seen any Caitlin Clark signature shoes. It is mind-blowing. Her influence was clear, and at the end of her first season, she had officially won the coveted First of the Year award. A moment that signified not just her own accomplishment, but also a watershed point in the expanding importance of women's basketball. Despite her evident star power and marketability, Nike, the company that initially signed her to an endorsement agreement, stayed curiously quiet. While other companies would have leaped at the chance to capitalize on such a dynamic talent, Nike's reaction to Caitlin's Rookie of the Year title was sluggish and lacking. When they eventually decided to publicly congratulate her, fans' emotions were divided. Their first Caitlin Clark-specific product was unimpressive, a single shirt emblazoned with a few records she set during her remarkable rookie season. Despite the fact that the top sold out in less than an hour, demonstrating how passionate and loyal her fan base is, Nike's effort felt little. For a player as influential and game-changing as Caitlin Clark, a single top is insufficient. Fans anticipated more, and Caitlin earned it. Perhaps most confusing is Nike's unwillingness to provide Caitlin with her own signature shoe, despite the fact that it is a fundamental component of her contract. Signature shoes are a symbol of an athlete's influence, not only in their sport, but in culture as a whole. Caitlin appears to be the ideal candidate for this type of recognition, given her amazing debut season and quickly rising fan following. Despite the evident demand, Nike has dragged it out. But fans are left asking why one of the sport's most electric athletes doesn't have her own shoe, especially because anything with Caitlin's name on it will sell out quickly. Adding fuel to the flames is the fact that Adidas, Nike's main competitor, was quicker to respond to Caitlin's historic Rookie of the Year victory. Adidas seized the opportunity immediately, publicly congratulating her nearly a week before Nike recognized her feat. Adidas' fast acknowledgement, despite the fact that Caitlin has yet to sign an endorsement agreement, emphasized Nike's delayed and disjointed response. Nike's congratulations announcement came at the last minute, almost as if they had forgotten. Caitlin Clark's significance cannot be understated. Her games routinely draw a large audience. Her jerseys are among the best sellers, and she is unquestionably one of the most famous names in the WNBA. Despite this, Nike continues to spend more effort into promoting players like A'ja Wilson, who, although deserving of her accomplishments, lacks the marketability of Caitlin. A'ja Wilson is the face of Nike's WNBA roster, and the company devotes major money to her promotion. This is not to diminish A'ja Wilson's accomplishments. She is a fantastic player and a worthy MVP. But the stats do not lie. Caitlin Clark's jerseys, accessories, and anything else featuring her name sell out quickly. The overwhelming demand for products demonstrates her unrivaled star power, but Nike continues to promote A'ja Wilson more heavily, seemingly in an effort to diversify its promotion and appeal to a broader audience, rather than focusing on the undeniable fact that Caitlin is their most bankable star. But also when they are on the road, their lowest attendance was around 6,000 people. And if you look at the rest of the league, everybody else is around 3,000 for their lowest. Their highest attendance is 2,366. This seems to be the game against the Las Vegas Aces because they also had that same number as their highest attendance. So then after I saw that chart, I just saw a clip during the Indiana Fever broadcast, and here's what they had to say about Clarkonomics. So if you look at this little chart right here, the Fever will have over 600,000 fans in attendance total this year, and the second best to that was in 1999 with the Washington Mystics at just over 400,000. So the Fever are going to account for over 200,000 more fans this year to their games. Despite her accomplishments, unparalleled attention to the sport, and evident talent, Caitlin Clark has faced criticism. For reasons that are difficult to comprehend, she faces opposition at practically every step. Caitlin seemed to garner a disproportionate amount of hate, whether it's due to her confident play style, domination on the court, or just because she's become the face of women's basketball so rapidly. It's pretty ironic. In her brief tenure, she has done more to boost the WNBA than anybody could have predicted, bringing in new fans, advertisers, and a level of enthusiasm that the league urgently needed. Despite this, criticism remains. Nike appears to be following a similar path. It's more than just selling things. Caitlin Clark is a celebrity, and Nike has a fantastic chance to solidify her position as the face of their women's basketball division, something they sorely need in a competitive market. She is more than simply a terrific athlete. She is a cultural phenomenon who transcends the game, injecting new energy and excitement into the WNBA. However, rather than concentrating on Caitlin's tremendous potential, Nike appears to be more concerned with satisfying other fan bases and preserving team balance. It's a typical instance of trying to satisfy everyone, and as a result, they're not fully using a superstar that has the potential to revolutionize their WNBA roster. Caitlin's potential to increase Nike's brand exposure in women's sports is enormous, but the company's unwillingness to make her their main focus feels like a squandered opportunity to usher in a new era. The response from supporters has already started. They've seen other athletes in the men's and women's leagues get signature shoes, massive marketing campaigns, and Nike's full support. So why not Caitlin? She's a proven marketing force, a player with unmistakable star power, and an already sizable fan base. The issue that keeps coming up is why one of the most accomplished, adored, and entertaining players in women's basketball is treated as an afterthought. This is a big wasted opportunity for both Caitlin Clark and Nike. She has one of the best-selling jerseys in sports, while, according to Fanatics, which is managed by Michael Rubin, Caitlyn's Indiana Fever shirt is supposedly sold out, and it was alleged that she outsold Dallas Cowboys shirts. In an era where businesses are continuously looking for the next big thing, they already have it in Caitlyn, but they're failing to capitalize on it. Nike risks alienating a large fan following that is eager to support Caitlyn and the items associated with her name. These are customers who are enthusiastic, interested, and eager to invest in her success. The demand is there, and the longer Nike delays, the more frustrated the fans become. How do you pass up such a great opportunity? How can you not capitalize? It does not make sense at all. I don't know what's going on behind the scenes, but I would be truly rethinking the deal that I signed up for. How do you miss an opportunity like that? How do you not capitalize? Nike faces a clear choice. Completely embrace Caitlin Clark or risk losing her influence to a competition. Let's hope they make the correct decision, and Caitlin's shoes are launched earlier than planned, since we know they'll sell out quickly, indicating just how popular Caitlin Clark is.